Hoops on Scoops, boy.
Welcome to Hoops on Scoops. Will Salisbury.
You made AC Sims.
We have a very special guest today. St. Louis basketball royalty, state champion, all conference at SLU. Took SLU to only their second NCAA tournament win ever. Lottery pick, all NBA first team defense. Mr. Larry Hughes, thanks for being here.
I appreciate it.
So excited. You're our second SLU legend here. Followed Mr. Quitman Dillard, if you know Quitman at all.
Okay.
He played in the early 90s, and we're here, Larry Hughes Basketball Academy.
Yep.
I want to start there. We talked to John back in the fall, and you've accomplished so much. You've played 13, 14 years in the NBA.
Yep.
You've done all this. Why? What is it about this place? What's your why behind the academy?
Well, first of all, it's in St. Louis, which, this is where I'm from, born and raised. So it's an opportunity for me to, do what I've learned over the years of obviously youth basketball, going all the way up to the professional level, but just having an opportunity to give back, give back knowledge, give back resources, give back facilities where young people can come and be themselves, learn the game, be supported. So that's really my why, is to really give the young generation and their families an opportunity to experience the game that I love.
Awesome. And then, so I was doing a bunch of nerded out on your website,
Yep.
and you talk about, this is important to me because Henry and I didn't grow up with, let's say, a lot.
Right.
You use the words a friendly, clean, and safe environment.
Yep.
Talking about your developing your peak performance.
Yep.
What about those three aspects?
Well, basketball is about, relationships, and especially at the young age, we encourage our young people to be friendly, right? Not just our staff to be friendly, but our young people to be friendly, to have the opportunity to meet new people. This game has done a lot for me, and I understand the connectivity of what basketball does. So having, that environment of being friendly, not only with the kids, but also with the staff. Safe is non-negotiable. Making sure that staff understands that safety comes first. We're going to treat the young people like they're our own. Even if they don't have any, they still have some cousins, brothers, sisters that they want to treat with good respect. And just being a clean space, right? It all goes back to, the environment that they come into, right? A messy environment, a disorganized environment is not a successful one, right? You've always been told, when you get out of bed in the morning, straighten up your room, make your bed, and that's going to lead you to success because everything is in order. So that's really what the message is behind, kind of keeping those things consistent and being a place of success.
And then you got, your staff here. How do you find your coaches, source your coaches? How do they come in?
We do it all, right? We do word of mouth. Our coaches are always in the gym. There's always basketball people looking for different opportunities, whether it be coaching teams, whether it be on the skill development side. And then we also use Indeed, right? We use those platforms where we can find people that are looking for jobs, looking for opportunities. And we're not looking for the next Phil Jackson, right? We're not looking for, John Calipari. We're looking for coaches, developers that want to give the kids an opportunity to experience the game, pass on some of their knowledge. We also do a good job of training and developing the coaches as well to make sure that they are, they have an understanding. Even if they don't come in with the basketball experience, we have a system and a program where we can develop them and give them that knowledge.
That's training the kids and the coaches. That's huge.
That's the name. That's the game, right? I mean, it's not, full circle if you don't develop the people that are actually working with the kids, right? So they need that continuous development to develop and learn so they can pass that information off to the kids.
That's great.
Yep.
It is. So kind of digging into your basketball life, what made you fall in love with the game? When were you a kid? Was it early or was this?
Well, I played schoolyard basketball, the neighborhood. I'm from downtown St. Louis, started playing right at, 20th and Cass at Blewett Middle School is where a bunch of the guys kind of got together and started to play, on the playground. Started playing organized basketball when I was 11, 12 years old. So getting a chance to experience a different environment going indoors with coaches, I started because my mom wanted me to stay out of trouble, give me a place to go.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. That's really the story, man. That's really the story. So that's, I got mentorship. I got encouragement. I didn't have the skill development, especially like these kids do today, but they saw something in me. I moved a little different than the other kids, jumped a little bit higher than the other kids. So that encouragement kind of got me locked in, right? Anytime you can get that positive reinforcement, right, that just tells you to keep going. And that's what it was. It kept me going.
So moving on to your CBC years, we were watching the state game. You Channel 5, Tatum, and Stricker, all them. It did not seem fair to the kids on the other side. You win the title. What are some of the memories that you have from that team in that game?
One, we should have won it the year before. My junior year, we got a little bit big-headed. Didn't come in and handle business the right way. So we took a loss. I think that was to Webster, I believe. Maybe it was Webster. It might have been Webster. But we knew we should have won it our junior year. We didn't go in and handle business. So our senior year, we took no prisoners. We were attacking everybody, ultra aggressive. Know that this is our last shot, right? Anytime you play basketball, especially in St. Louis, we understand the classifications of winning the state title. Like, you can always come back to the city and talk about you won the state title.
Right.
So we didn't want to be the guys that had D1 scholarship offers and had a really good team, and then we couldn't come back and say we got a state title. So that was very important, and that was a mission, is to make sure our senior year we went out on top.
I remember watching that game. This poor kid had to guard you on the wing, and I was like, "This isn't going to go well."
Yeah.
And then just basket. And I remember. I remember this because I'm a nerd. I don't think you guys made a field goal in the fourth quarter. You just shot free throws. They just kept fouling.
Free throws.
Correct?
Yep. And it was a game that we felt like we going in, if we handle business, we were expecting to win. I think it was against Truman.
Yeah.
This was a matchup. So we've, you never know until you know, but we went into that game like, yeah, we got this one.
So then you go from CBC, you choose SLU, play for Coach Spoonhauer, stay close to home. Trip to Atlanta for the NCAA tournament. I was there for that. I met Ashley Judd. She was at,
okay.
Yep. That team, you, Boniak, Tatum, Luchtefeld, Troy Robertson. Was it different that all of you St. Louis guys were on that team? Did it give you a different feeling wearing that SLU jersey?
That's really what I grew up doing. Even though during the AAU days, right? It's not like it is now where you get a bunch of guys that are not from the city, not from the state, and you put them together and then they go and play. Like, all of our guys, we were from the area. So that took on a different animal of what we were representing. We walked into the gym, we were all representing the same thing, right? In AAU basketball. And that just carried over until college ball, right? You're all from the place that you're representing, the school name, you're all from that place. So yes, you do, lock in and you want to play for that school, for that university. But this is actually where we're from.
Yeah.
So anything that comes back to the university, essentially it comes back to us because we are from here. So we wanted to represent the university well.
I didn't look this way. That AAU team, was it called the Eagles?
Yep.
You, Tatum, who else was on it? Because I remember it being absolutely stacked. Do you want
Johnny Parker, Grauer, Walter Moore from Parkway. Walter went to Parkway Central. Melvin Williams, who was actually a football player. Eric Woods, who went to St. Joe's.
Okay.
It was probably 13 guys on the team, and 11 of those guys went Division I, and 2 of those guys went Division I in football.
Oh, okay.
So there was, we had a stack group.
I remember Grauer, he had a bit of an edge to him.
Yep.
I went to Mizzou, and he was there.
Yep.
I think I'm a couple years younger than you, but yeah.
Yep.
So, kind of describe the atmosphere of playing that NCAA tournament. You had 200 minutes. Let us know how you're still going through all that.
It was big. It was big, right? It's the NCAA tournament. So you're removed now from like the smaller arenas that you may play in, during the season and going to different campuses or whatnot. You're in this huge arena. The environment's crazy. Get to that point in time, you're the last group, everybody's done. So the only people that are playing, that are in the tournament, everybody else is watching.
Right.
So that's where you make your name for yourself, when most people are done playing and the other people are, watching. Right. And that's what it was. It was an experience to travel to Atlanta, right? And play against teams that you have something to prove. Right. Like, we were St. Louis U, they were UMass, and obviously we played Kentucky in the second round. But these were quote unquote bigger programs from bigger conferences. Yeah. So we wanted to go in and show, that we can compete with those guys.
So going into that tournament, what was some of the things that you're hearing from the people in the city. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people haven't been there for.
Yeah.
What do you kind of see the defensive family?
We had total support. Again, total support because, again, all of us were from St. Louis. We were from the area. Like, our parents knew each other. Like, I played AU basketball with Matt Bonyak since, 7th grade.
Oh, wow.
So those connections that we had as far as who was rooting for you goes back a long way. It's not just rooting for, those athletes that are there for those 4 years. Like, we played middle school basketball together. So as far as the energy that brought and the support that we had from that, I mean, it was huge.
Did CBC play this Met?
Oh, yeah.
Go against him?
Oh, yeah.
Who's got the record?
You know what? I'm not sure. I would say that we had the edge, but if not, it was 1 or 2 games here and there. But yeah, those were our matchups, right? The MCC has been one of the great conferences back then, and still is. But we always had those battles with those guys. The Smet, Chaminade, all those guys.
So you guys slew high too, I'm guessing?
Slew high, yep.
Who's better catching the hoop, Tatum or Bonyak? You threw a lot that season.
Justin's going to be with the long arms that he had. Yeah. He was known for not having a crazy vertical, but his arms were so long you could throw it up there. Yeah, that's my guy.
So I remember. So you have to play Kentucky in the second round.
Yep.
I looked into this yesterday. They put 6 players in the NBA.
Yep.
Wayne Turner, underrated, I think.
Yep.
Was he your matchup in that game?
Yep.
How was he as a point guard? He seemed like a fundamental machine.
No, they were well oiled.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that name, obviously they went on to win a championship, but that brand, especially back then with where they were coming, Tubby was running that system. They were who they said they were. Right. I mean, they were a tough matchup. They had a guy, Hashimu Evans, who was one of the early transfer guys that came into a program that Rex Shop and Shepard, all of those guys were, top line guys. Nazi Muhammad, who I actually ended up getting drafted to the Sixers with. So we had some conversations about that. But they were well oiled.
I just remember it was the first NCAA tournament I've ever gone to.
Yeah.
Drove down there to Fred. Yeah. Awesome. So NBA decision, right?
Yep.
So you said one season, you go there, and I remember it was take care of your family, especially your little brother, who was, just inspiration to all St. Louis.
Yep.
What do you do in your life here? Carry him with you every day?
I live, through him. He lives through me, in a situation where, me and my brother, and then my mom, we were, 3 pods together always, locked in. So I still carry him on, pictures at the house.
Yeah.
Motivation is still there. I wake up, motivated because I knew, what he went through. So that motivates me still to this day. I'm, looking back on.
Dude,
yeah, man. It's about the things that you learn, growing up and, being resilient. I learned that from him. Sticking with things. I learned that from him. Yeah. So those are all the things that, you kind of pick up growing up.
So let's talk about the NBA draft. So there's a lot of talk about 84 and 96 as the greatest draft class ever. Talk about 2003, whatever.
Yep.
98 was also stacked with Bibby, with Prince, and James, Harden, White Chocolate, Paul Pierce, Dirk, Charlotte Lewis, good Lord, Ricky Davis, LeBron was there to help him score.
Yep.
Johnny White,
White. What was some of the memories of that night and meeting David Stern and stuff like that?
That's my best NBA experience is that night. I've played in high-level games, buzzer beaters, had high-scoring games, but that, was the start of me, having the opportunity to do that. So that me walking across the stage, meeting David Stern, was one of the best experiences I could, think of in my basketball life, right? There's not a lot of guys that get that opportunity to walk across that stage, to experience, going to the draft, being a lottery pick, at 19 years old, playing 1 year in college. It was all new, right? It was this thing where I was there. I felt like I had the game. But these are guys that were older. These were upperclassmen guys that started making a name for themselves, that had played in a tournament with North Carolina, Kansas, right? So they were a little bit more seasoned than I was as far as experience. But I was right there with them, as a younger, underclassman to go. Like I said, lottery pick number 8, right? That's the.
When did you know the Sixers were going to take you? Was it when your name was called, or was it Hey, Larry's mom. We're taking Larry next, or was it?
Nah, we kind of knew early on. Like,
Okay.
I mean, obviously, you there's no guarantees, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anything could have happened in that moment where somebody slides, and then somebody can't pass up on a guy that that they didn't think was going to be there. So you never completely know.
Yep.
But I can say that the communication between my agent, the organization, I had a really good idea that I was going 8. Because on the flip side of that, I may not have gone to the draft if I wasn't a top 10 pick.
Right.
So, I had the idea that I was going 8.
So you get your name called, you walk up there, you shaking David Stern hands. What was kind of like your initial feeling of David Stern, and what was your first thoughts of you kind of going into the league like that?
Man, we made it. My brother was there, my then pregnant, my wife, she was there. Family, friends were there. Rich Gray, who was one of the founders of the St. Louis Eagles team that I played for, was there. Just being able to bring all of those people along that was on the journey with me to like, okay, this is not the end, but this is like the entry to like a new life, a new way, a new career. I'm saying new things to come. So that was really the wording behind it.
All the support and all the back end, like you said, it wasn't the end, but kind of know like it paid off at this moment.
Yeah, man, we put in a lot of work.
You're right.
Put in a lot of work, a lot of traveling, road trips and things of that nature. Sacrificing at the university, having some injuries that happened at the university. Getting good information from like the evaluators and the agents and things like that. So everything that was told, it like came, right? I wasn't expected to go 8 and then I went 35, right? It was like everything that was laid out, it actually happened. So once I got into that moment, it was like, we made it.
So I want to get into this part a little bit. So at that moment, after you get drafted and you go into the 60s, were they really heavy on the rookie symposium then, or was that something they was kind of implemented at all that time? Yeah,
no, that came actually later because when I was drafted, we actually went into a lockout.
That's right. That was the 50
right.
Yeah, so those things that they started to do, it didn't happen because we couldn't be with the organization, we couldn't be with the program until December or something like that. So it was a really condensed sort of introduction to like training camp practice, get to the organization, learn what's going on, and then we started playing.
Lighting the fire there.
Yep.
So you're going to the NCAA tournament. Next thing you know, you're sharing a backcourt with Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Who has a better crossover?
Oh, I picked up stuff from him.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to give it to him. I mean, I had the crossover, but he had to step with the crossover.
Okay.
So there's a little variation to kind of what that looks like and the cadence of, what that looks like that you emulate that. Like you want to imitate that one because that gets the defender to take an extra step over. Mm-hmm. I was more so of like a quick step and going, right? Just using the quick step. So I have to give it to him.
What's he like as a teammate, AI?
Great dude. Yeah, great dude. All about hoop. Going after it. If you're not ready to rock and roll, he'll do it himself. Mm-hmm. Gives his teammates the energy to go out and compete. Be who they are, do what they do. Any slack that was happening, like he tried to pick it up. Good off the court as well. Just a story about him off the court. Like I said, we were in the lockout. So I stayed back in St. Louis doing a little bit of training and whatnot. But my mom and my brother, because he was starting school, went to Philadelphia pretty early. As soon as I was drafted, obviously school starts. So him and my mom were in Philadelphia.
Okay.
So they run into Allen Iverson at the Fridays.
Okay.
And you would have thought that we had been teammates for 5 years.
Oh, that's nice.
The way he took care of them, the way he made sure that anything that they needed in that moment, while I wasn't there, he was there. He made sure that they were good. So, and that's how we got introduced to the relationship because, again, we were in a lockout, was my mom putting him on the phone and we talking through like, I got him. And that's where our relationship started.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, speaking of teammates, so what are some of your memories around being guys like Rick Mahorn, Gilbert Arenas, Tyrone, Larry Hughes?
Yep.
Like, what were some of those early introductions like?
The OGs.
Yeah.
OGs, right? Coming in as a 19-year-old kid, like I said, the wife was expecting, but they had years of experience being in the game. So learning from them about, how the game goes, and it's a lot, man. Just being in that environment, in that profession, there's a lot of things that you deal with on the court. There's a lot of things that you deal with off the court. So having people there that have kind of been there, done that and are willing to talk you through things of like, not buying a house so early, where to go to dinner after, games and things of that nature, how to prepare yourself, how to take care of your body to make sure that you can compete, at the highest level every night. Mm-hmm. There were some players that were offensive minded. There were some people that were defensive minded, and just kind of getting an understanding of how those things, kind of played into having a long career. I mean, Rick Mahorn, come on, man.
Right. Well, you're now we're all grown, so you're 19, 20, and this is an adult world you're getting into.
Yep.
To have those old G's like that.
Yep.
I mean, Rick Mahorn, Bad Boy Pistons, right?
Yep.
Is there a good Rick Mahorn story? A practice story, maybe?
Nah, Rick, he was really, so I got introduced to the card playing, right, as we got started. Yeah. And he was one of the guys that was like, young fella, be careful, right? These guys have been in the league, so they've earned a few more checks, so they have a little bit more, leeway. They can put a little bit more, they can put a little bit more pressure on you to get out of the game or to lose money. So he was one of my guys that I talked to early on about the gambling and knowing when to say when, because when you are putting big bank up against little bank, most times the big bank is going to win. So he made me aware that, hey, there's a bigger bank. Even though you drafted high, there's a bigger bank than what you got.
So you can say that you got kind of a rookie symposium without having
Oh yeah. Because that's when vets were there, right? In that day and age, you had vets on the roster. Now these guys need a lot of that because all the guys are the same age. So it's like 22-year-old giving a 23-year-old advice. You know what I'm saying? It just you hear it, but it don't hit the same when you got somebody that's 32, 33, 34, 35 that's kind of ran the ropes a little bit to give you that knowledge.
So you got both taking rookie contract extensions. So how much more are you going to tell them?
Exactly. Yep.
So I went deep on your career. You played with three dream teamers.
Okay. Yep.
Mullin, Laettner, and MJ.
Yep.
Well, obviously, we're going to get to MJ.
Yep.
So Chris Mullin, I love hearing him talk.
Yep.
The accent, the swagger.
Yep.
Did you ever have to guard him in practice or anything?
We did a little bit, but Chris was injured doing a lot of that time. But I did get a chance to work out and train with Chris. Mm-hmm. And I told this story to a lot of people. Just that was the first time I saw a player work out with the big ball. I don't know if you guys, they don't use the big ball anymore.
Yeah, I remember that thing.
So
it's hard to make a jumper with that thing, man.
Not for Chris. Not for Chris. And I mean, he was going, 10, 15, 20 minutes without missing a shot.
Really?
With the big ball. So he would use the big ball, get the shots up. Shots are going in. Mm-hmm. So I tried it. Works out, making some shots. But then once you get the regular size basketball in, I was making probably a few more shots, but he didn't miss. Man. Yeah, he didn't miss. And the kids today don't utilize the big ball. I've seen one big ball in the last 10 years of all the gyms that I've been in.
High school. Yeah. Trying to lay that thing in, man.
Yeah.
That's wild. So, all right, we got to keep going. You're Golden State. I have to know because you're SLU man. Play with Corey Blunt, Danny Fortson, two Cincinnati guys. Any smack talk going on there?
No, because those were older guys. I was the underclassman.
Yeah, okay.
But we always had conversation about how those guys carried themselves. And we played a home game at the what was it called when we were there?
Oh, it was not the Oracle. No.
No, at the SLU when we played at the arena.
Oh yeah, the arena.
I can't even.
The Kiel Center.
Yeah, the Kiel Center. So our locker rooms were here, and their locker rooms were over there, and they were chanting the most outrageous stuff that you can get away with in college, and just the intimidation factor of them yelling, chanting all of these different slogans and words and comments. You knew that they were the real deal. And those guys were really the real deal. They were physical. They were grown. Melvin Levitt, was another name that, didn't actually make it, a long, career in the league. But he was one of those guys where, he was one of those guys.
Was Kenyon Martin on that? Or was he after?
Kmart was there. Kmart was there, but he might have got the year after I left, he got injured. So Kmart was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
There was Pete Michael or something. What was his name? Yeah.
Yep. I think like Branson. If I looked at the roster, I can point all of those guys out to let you know exactly who those guys were. Yep.
So, you've been in the league a couple seasons. You end up in Washington with MJ.
Yep.
Let us know how that went. What was your first thoughts when you got there and kind of how that rolled?
Was that your first free agency?
That was my first free agency signing with DC. And it was funny because he was also the president. So he was also in the front office as well. So what was crazy about that is he was the guy that reached out to me, to my agents or whatnot, to sign me because he liked playing with bigger guards, right?
Right.
So it was funny because he was the person that signed me, and then he obviously was a teammate as well. So you don't get that too often.
Right. Yeah.
Front office guy, the guy that brings you in to sign you, and then also the guy that brings you in, he's actually your teammate. So there was a little interesting dynamic there. But MJ was like, again, he's my GOAT. So it was a great experience.
So you getting that phone call, and like you said, it's the guy that wants to sign you, the president.
Yeah.
What kind of vote of confidence that gives you going into that season, knowing that the organization has your back?
I actually signed a lesser deal with less years to go there to prove myself again because I was at Golden State. We weren't winning any games, so it wasn't a great experience. And then when you go into free agency, a lot of it plays on your talent, but how did you affect winning? And if you don't affect winning, then, you start to get bumped down a little bit. So I had another deal that was on the table for 6 years, talked to MJ, ended up doing a deal for 3 years and then becoming a free agent after those 3 years. But it was in big part that because he was the guy that was recruiting me to come in.
What's it like going to town with him? Because, there's certain guys that no matter where they go, it's sold out.
Yeah.
What is that like playing that atmosphere every single day?
All the games were sold out, right? There's not, and even he's obviously on his way out, on the decline as far as to where we all know MJ to be, but fans are still out. They're in Wizards jerseys, they're in Chicago Bulls jerseys. They're in arenas that they may not normally be in on a Tuesday, Wednesday night because MJ is coming to town, and he didn't disappoint. He showed up every night. No matter what day, no matter what team it was. So that was another thing that I learned from him as well, is you got to show up.
So we played to work with AI, and we played to work with MJ. What are some of the similarities and differences of how they approach the game and how they affect the game?
I think there's a competitive, nature that the both of them have. One guy being because he was, 6 feet, 100 and something pounds of the tenacity that he had to play with. And then with MJ, obviously just his history of, his rise of, in UNC and doing what he did in the championship game, him just coming in and being expected to, be one of the guys. And then eventually 6 titles, 2 3-peats.
Right.
So just like the competitive vibe that they had, it's different in how they go about their business. But, when you're a competitor, like you find ways to show it.
And which guy's game fits your game better? I know you play well, but which one you talk about? I kind of vibe with this one just a little more.
Probably AI, because there was, he was obviously a 2-guard in a 1-guard body at that time.
Yeah.
And then I was a guy that was actually a taller guy that when I came into the league was the expectation that they wanted me to play point guard because I was a taller guy. So we were able to kind of play off each other there. As far as ball handling responsibilities on the defensive end, he could still guard the point guard. I can guard the 2-guard. So there was some synergy there.
So Wizards team still.
Yeah.
You got you played there. You have Stackhouse, Laettner, Ty Lue, Heidi White, Kwame Brown, Charles Oakley.
Yep.
So the first professional athlete I ever met was outside of the Bonner League. It was Anthony Bonner.
Yep.
He was like 12.
Yep.
I thought he was 13 feet tall.
Yep.
Did he give you any advice on sharing a locker room with Charles Oakley?
No, not necessarily any advice with that. Oak is great. Oak came in as, he was coming in to make sure nobody got too physical with MJ. That's why Oak was there, and we all knew what that was. But yeah, Anthony Bonner was one of those early guys for me, though, that you kind of see a guy that made it, and then he was playing with the Knicks, which is a high profile team, and you're like, okay, a guy from St. Louis, Vashon High School. My mom went to Vashon High School, so there was some synergy and connection there that, okay, like this guy can make it from St. Louis, where he's from, then it gives you the chance to think that you can make it. So it started early on with me and Anthony Bonner.
Yeah, I still have framed on our set in my basement as Anthony Bonner.
Yep.
I think he might be the only athlete I've ever asked for his autograph.
Yep.
Yeah, just nice man.
Yep.
Great man.
Yep.
All right, so that MJ retires after that season. Next year, Arenas comes to town. 3-4 doesn't go well. But the next year, you're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Right? You have a 22 a game, lead the league in steals.
Yep.
The only time you were all defense, which kind of as a fan pissed me off because I thought you were one of the better on the ball, off the ball defenders. I was like, why aren't you on the all? Anyway, that's just me. So what came together that season for you? Because that was like I don't want to say, it's kind of your breakout season.
Well, a few things happen, right? When you have the motivation to want to win, right? You don't want to be in this league and have a bunch of losing seasons, right? I came from Golden State situation where we weren't winning a lot, get to another stop. Playoffs is the goal, and then whatever you do in those playoffs, and okay, great, but you got to at least make it to the playoffs. So things, as far as the organization, they started to support me more, give me more opportunity. Being healthy is a huge part of that. Ended up getting hurt later in the season. That kind of threw my All-Star bid, out of the window because I got hurt doing that late run. But just having teammates that I knew, Gilbert came from the Warriors, which I had him in Golden State. He was my rookie. Took care of him. Antoine Jameson was also in Golden State when I was there. Yeah. So we had like synergy. Brendan Haywood was also there in DC. We played AAU basketball against each other, growing up. Eton Thomas, same way.
Oh, Syracuse.
Yeah. He's from Syracuse. Almost went to Syracuse.
Oh, okay.
So like we knew each other. And when you know each other, especially in the league, like it gives you the best chance to be successful. And it just showed up for me personally, honestly. Like the team environment just showed up for me individually.
There was a story I heard him tell about something about you charging room service to his name or something.
Him charging room service to my name.
Oh, okay. What is that? What is that story?
Well, young guy, right? You get that per diem, and a lot of guys, you come on those deals, and they don't understand how fast that money goes. They don't know that taxes kick in. They don't know. So all of these things happen. And then you go to these 4- and 5-star hotels when you go to cheeseburgers, $45, you know what I'm saying? So those things kind of add up pretty fast. I'm a guy that was in the league for a while. And that was like my little brother. So he knew that he can, get away with it. And I tell him to go ahead and do what he needed to do because he needed to eat.
Did you ever come back around and get you one off them?
Oh, we did. Oh, for sure.
So your next stop is Cleveland, where you teammates with LeBron in 2007. You all made a run to the finals with Tim Duncan Spurs.
Yep.
As you get deeper in the playoffs, do you feel a difference in each round from the crowd, the opponent? Like, what was that run like? Yeah,
I think the intensity level kicks up. And like I said, even in college, when you're like in the playoffs and those other teams are at home watching, I mean, that amps it up even more because now the expectation is like, all right, my peers are watching. Like, I got to go out and handle business. So they're going to be saying, we should have been in that spot versus this team being in that spot. So it's a motivation to be in the playoffs, try to make a run. Everybody's ultimate goal is to win a championship, right? One team is going to experience that every year, right? 15 guys are going to get it. And then the other, 400 guys in the league, like we all just came in second. We didn't make it. Even the guys that played in the finals, but you didn't win it. So you're second. So just having that, that experience was great.
So before we kind of get into what like playing from LeBron, so you're in the finals, seeing Tim Duncan on the other side.
Yep.
What kind of let us know what that Tim Duncan like? You know what I'm saying? I know you kind of played against a couple times, but what was the finals Tim Duncan like? Oh,
Tim, they were tough, man. Spurs were tough as an organization, as a program. I mean, we stopped calling them an organization, called them a program because of how they went about things. Everything was uniform, everything was in order. They did things the same way. Guys, knew their role. So it was tough. I mean, playing against those guys is tough, and their record shows it, right? They win one, lose one, come back, win again, lose again, come back, win. That was their pedigree. So being against those guys were tough. I mean, not just Tim, though. You got Manu, you got Tony Parker, you got Bruce Bowen, you got all of these guys that like played a role in like Tim being able to just be Tim. And like he is, arguably, one of the greatest power forwards to ever do it. If not, right? If not, we all got our opinions, but he's up there.
So what was it like? What were some of the things that maybe I know LeBron was 4 years in the league at that time. So what kind of things you got prepared for going into this, knowing what you know about that organization?
It was tough. We had Mike Brown, who actually came from the organization. Right. So a lot of the things that we were running came from them.
Right.
So as far as us being scouted, it was an easier scout for them versus us, even though we were running the same offense because they knew it. This was Mike Brown's first season, so they knew it more than we did. So playing against the Spurs was, you don't get a better challenge than playing against the Spurs and playing against Pop and his adjustments and a guy that created the hack-a-shack and the guy that created load management and all of that stuff that goes along. He's like one of the early pioneers of that. Like playing against the Spurs, like he knew you had your work cut out for you.
All right, so we're taking up a lot of your time. Appreciate it. Thank you. So we have some fun ones because we're basketball nerds.
Yep.
So from there, you play in Chicago a little bit. You play for the Knicks, Charlotte, ended your career in Orlando.
Yep.
So I went through every single roster you were ever on.
Yep.
Okay, in the NBA. So I picked out some of the guys I thought were the most decorated.
Yep.
From this list, yourself on the floor, you're playing either the one or two, whatever you want. I want you to pick 4 other starters and 2 bench guys to build a squad. So you play with Iverson. Played with Kukoc, right?
No.
Was that the part of the trade?
Yeah, that was part of the trade. Yep, that's part of the trade. Yep.
Terry Cummings?
Yep.
Anton, Chris Mullin, Bobby Serta,
yep.
Michael Jordan, Jerry Stackhouse, Gilbert Arenas, LeBron James, Derrick Rose.
Yep.
You don't even know a David Lee? Were you with David?
Yep, I was with Dave in New York.
Tyson Chandler, Edu Turkoglu, Dwight Howard.
Yep.
You build a squad. You have to be out there.
Okay, so
you guys are going to build a championship team. Who do you want?
I say you got the 5. You have Dwight Howard, 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd say I would put LeBron James at the 4.
Ooh.
Then I would put MJ at the 3.
Okay.
And then I would play the 2. And then I would go with AI at the 1.
Oh, that's tough to be. Okay. Right.
And then I got coming off the bench.
Yeah.
I got D Rhodes.
Derrick Rose off the bench, man.
In there. And then I'll stay small ball. So I'll go with Gilbert Arenas and Derrick Rose coming off the bench.
Side note, what's your record?
82 game season.
Oh, I mean, we say we lose 20, 25 games.
It's a 60 win squad.
Yeah.
That's home.
Yeah.
60 safe.
Yeah. Yeah, because we're looking at the eras too, right? Because I got some older guys on there. So, if I'm talking like prime MJ,
92 MJ.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a different story.
That's a 75.
Yeah, that's a different story. Yeah.
So, what were the top 5 dunkers of your teammates?
Man, Dwight Howard would be one. D Rose would be another.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Who else, man?
There's one we both.
Oh, you won't have this one.
Okay.
You won't have Gerald Wallace.
Oh,
yeah. He was in Charlotte.
I was in Charlotte. Yeah, I was in Charlotte.
Yes,
I was in Charlotte. So that would be 3. Who else, man? Like I said, I played with so many guys. I can't think of 2 that come to mind.
The one we were thinking of. Did you play with Shannon Brown?
SB.
Yeah.
Put SB on there. Yeah.
I feel like he could look down the rim.
I had SB as a rookie. Off one foot, one hand.
Did he have only big hands?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was a 1 foot jumper.
Yeah.
And he had a big hand. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the hardest guy that you had to guard?
I got 2, man. Probably Kobe and T-Mac.
Oh, that makes
yeah. Kobe and T-Mac. Kobe, obviously, he's going to shoot every shot he can shoot. He's going to get to the money every time. And then T-Mac was just ahead of his time, being 6'8", 6'9", shoot the ball from range. So you couldn't necessarily back up and give him a step because then he was athletic enough to get to the cup and he was athletic to get to the, he was a dunker too.
Oh, yeah.
So those two guys are probably my toughest matchup.
Like going to bed early tonight?
Yeah.
Is that one? Are they some of those guys?
Yeah, for sure. In a sense, man, because I was one of the guys that I prided myself on the defensive end. And then I also wanted to make sure that if I'm playing defense, I'm going to have to make you work on the offensive end as well. So I wanted to make sure that, I gave you, what you were trying to give me.
So give us one of your favorite Kobe experiences.
So when I was in Golden State, we used to have the dual sort of training camps where at the end of training camp, we would have, 2 games against the Lakers and we would do it in Hawaii. So we were both told we would have a few days in California and then both teams would travel down to Hawaii. Have a few more practice days, but then we would play a couple games. So the experience that I had against Kobe was we played him too much. I saw him too much. If you got to play Kobe 6 times out of the year, 8 times out of, including your normal preseason schedule, that's a tough get. And he was one of the guys that preseason, regular season, playoffs, he going at it. So that was my experience with Kobe.
So we asked Quitman this when we interviewed him, and he had a hard time thinking. But you look back at your career with CBC, SLU, NBA, Big Three.
Yep.
What is your 1 or 2? This is Larry Hughes' basketball masterpiece. That game.
Man, I wouldn't say it was a game. I would say it's just my draft night.
Okay.
And all the things that went into it. Right? I mean, the amount of work and sacrifice that my mom had, the challenges that my little brother had, things that we had to do to kind of make sure that, everything kind of stayed, going in the right direction. And then to have it all, at that moment on the stage with David Stern, that's what I look at, right? There's a picture in my office. There's multiple pictures in my office of, draft night, shaking David Stern's hand, but then also just have a book with all the pictures with family and friends that, I occasionally go through to take a look at. So for me, that moment is very special. I mean, I've had, buzzer beaters and things like that, scoring 40. But if I got to look back and point to one experience, that's the one.
Who did you light up on your 40-point night?
I had a few. I don't even remember, man. Sometimes I forget I played. To be 1,000% honest, was sometimes people be like, "You did this, you did that." I'd be like, "Oh." It's I've been retired. I've been retired. I was longer than I played at this point.
Yeah.
So some of those things and some of those experiences, they come when I have sit downs and have conversations. Be like, "Oh yeah, you did that. It did happen."
Real quick, I know it's how long, but if you were to point out one thing about the NBA that you grew up in, the NBA now, what would you say is the biggest difference?
I think the rosters. And how teams are built, like I said earlier, having veteran leadership, on those teams to kind of help younger guys kind of navigate through the business side of it, but also the basketball side of it. And those experiences that you get from older guys is invaluable. You can't discount that in any way. And I think that today's players lose that, right? If they don't have a good foundation behind them, they're not getting that once they get to their profession because those guys aren't around. So I think that's one thing that sticks out to me is I think that they're missing out on some of that valuable knowledge that I was able to get, way back when.
Would you say pay disparity, pay gap is kind of one of the things that factor into that? Yeah,
that's known, right? I mean, I made more than the guys that, came before me. So we're all kind of benefiting and wishing we were born a little bit, later than the other guys. So I take that into account. But for the most part, I understand that that's just the growth of it and the expectation of it.
Do you have any big three questions before we let go?
Do you have any interest in it at all? So
I played.
I know.
Yeah.
The crossover still works.
Yeah.
So I'm a big three guy.
Okay.
For me personally, it gives me my basketball fix.
Yeah.
Summer.
Yeah, for sure.
And seeing guys, and I see you play the league, get opportunity to play. So I'm into it.
For sure.
But what are your kind of thoughts on it?
My thing is I came in looking like this, right? Not too far from my playing days, right? Not too far. I mean, I may be 8-10 pounds more. But you got guys that are 40, 50, 60 pounds above their playing days.
Yeah.
So me, I actually got injured.
Right, yeah.
I got injured. Kwame Brown set a screen and gave me like whiplash. So I still feel it to this day.
Yeah.
But the experience as far as having that opportunity, going back to meet with fans and, travel around, get back into the locker rooms. Q was building something that was, very special. He brought a lot of guys into it. I did a Big 3 commercial. I was like one of the first guys, one of the headliner guys that was involved in it. So the experience was great. I think the biggest part of that was, again, being retired and then traveling back into those cities and being in the locker rooms with those guys, sharing stories, talking about what we're doing now in the afterlife after, the playing career, is done, and just getting a chance to chop it up with the guys again.
Yeah, people really underestimate how physical that league is.
Oh, yeah.
It's a physical league.
Oh, yeah.
And I totally get that.
Oh, yeah.
Is that every interview I see with the retired whatever sport? It's like, what do you miss? Like, I miss being with the guys.
Yeah.
Is that it?
It's locker room stuff, right? I mean, these are the guys that you've worked against. You sweated, on the same court, on the same team. You've competed at a high level. You've got into altercations with, even guys that were in the Big 3. It was all about the competition. It wasn't about any sort of like personal beef or anything like that. It was all in the spirit of like the competition. So yeah, you miss that once you retire, right? I have the competitive vibe where I want to see these young kids, be successful and, win their games and compete at a high level. But that's the big thing that you miss is like being just a dog and competing against the best in the world.
Hey, I got in and out of there too. You were there for a little minute.
Yeah, man. We're the same size as our playing days, man. We're not trying to do that. Like, we're not trying to do that.
So bring it home with some family the way we started. So now, so awesome. Your son going into his senior year. What's it like? Because there's not a lot of fathers that when what he's going through out there. I'm guessing, because just watching my daughter just play kindergarten basketball, it's like I'm probably more nervous than she is. Is that like that for you?
It is a little bit, right? Because you can't control it, right? And I see the amount of work that he puts in. So I ultimately want him to be successful. Like if he wasn't putting in the work, if he wasn't spending the time, if he wasn't fully committed, then I'd be like, hey, you're going to get the results that, that are supposed to come to you. But he puts in so much work and so much time and effort that, I get nervous just for the fact that I want him to do well because I know that he's putting in that time.
All right, so let's bring it home.
So, well, before we get to the last one, we want you to be able to talk about the academy and all that. We want to ask everybody on the show, why do you believe that St. Louis doesn't have a basketball team?
Man, I think we can support a professional team. I think that there were challenges, over the years as far as bringing in exhibition games and there not being a full gravity pull towards those games and being in those arenas because there may be, two teams that they're not our team. So, we can come we can like guys that play on these teams, but I think that was a big deal for the NBA is like when those teams and those exhibition games came, what was the vibe? What was the environment like to support a team long term? Mm-hmm. But I think we have the ability to have the facilities. Obviously we have, historically we've had a really good baseball team. We've been a little bit up and down, the last few years. And then obviously our football team is gone. But we've shown in the past that we can support a professional football team. So I just think it's just a matter of just timing. And right now, with all the other spots in the Europe and the Vegas and the stuff, I mean, we might get kicked to the burner just because we're a Midwest sort of vibe and they may be looking for like a bigger sort of market. Yeah.
It's fun to dream, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we'll keep it alive, maybe. We're not letting it go. Like every chance I get, I'll talk about and big up. Like I think we can support it, not only for the basketball culture, but just for our environment. You know what it does for jobs and for just all of that stuff that having a professional team brings. Like I would love for our city to benefit from that.
You always say you wanted the show is for St. Louis to.
We want St. Louis to tell its own St. Louis basketball.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, me and Will, a while ago, 10+ years, we were in Indiana watching Lakers play, and we had a bar. We talked to Matt Weiner, and he was telling that we're from St. Louis, and he was up there in Jordan. He looked at that in the face and like, "Damn, NBA fans in St. Louis."
Right.
That's when we started the whole thing.
Right.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? So,
Yeah, travel to Indiana, travel to Chicago. You know what I'm saying? You got to take the normal routes. Yeah, Memphis.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so we're here because you built something amazing here, and I mean that as a little kid. Like I just played in my driveway.
Yep.
I played on the playground at school. I didn't have anything like this.
Yep.
So Larry Hughes Basketball Academy. Right now, kids that are listening, their parents, how do they get involved? How do they come here and learn from you and your staff?
Yeah, well, you can always find the information on the website, which is lhbastl.com. Staff does a great job of making sure that all of the experiences are there, whether it be camps, whether it be clinics, whether it be the skills and drills program, small groups, private training. We're using technology to capture shot tracking data, performance data, things of that nature. So the LHBA STL website is like the ultimate place to go and find exactly what you're looking for from a basketball experience.
And this isn't your name's on it and you're, in Palm Beach. You're here a lot.
I am. I like to show face and, again, my picture's on the wall. So when I walk in, and again, these are young people. They didn't see me play, right? They hear from their parents or, all these things, these connections and having YouTube and things of that nature. So I like to make sure that they understand that I'm a real person. Yeah. This environment is created for them. When I walk into the building, yes, my name's on the building, but it's not about me. It's completely about their experience in this environment. But you gotta show up, right? That's with anything you do. If you're not showing up, then the value is not necessarily there, even though you're providing, a service.
Awesome. Anything else? Man, I just want to thank you for everything. This has been amazing.
Appreciate it.
Just take the time out to sit down and talk with us.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. No, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. It's always good to get the message out. It's always good to, represent, hometown. And again, we got basketball players that want to be basketball players. We got media, young people that want to be in the media space. Is like showing them a way and giving them opportunities is like, that's where it's at. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it, man. Always. Yes, sir. Yep. Appreciate it. Yep.
This has been another episode of Hoops on Scoops, boy.